Hi guys, welcome back to Transits and Tactics. We are in a very interesting solar transit now in gate 11. This is actually the only gate in my chart that I am missing to have single definition, to have the energy flowing really well. I would expect that I'm going to enjoy this transit, but no. And this is so interesting. And I actually just chatted to Anita and I was complaining to her about all these, things that are going on. I'm saying, when am I going to go back? And we started talking about really what's underneath this energy and why we're not enjoying it. So I am really excited to this for this conversation today. So I'm going to give you a quick overview of the transit. And we have Sun in gate 11, which is the gate of ideas. We have Earth in gate 12, the gate of caution, so have to be careful how you express your ideas, right? And also we'll talk a little bit about if you have the 56 harmonic gate in your throat, what this creates, the whole channel of curiosity and what it means for you then. So the gate of ideas, fantastic gate. It's really creative. It's a collective energy, it's sharing, and very creative. However, people with this energy have a lot of ideas that not all meant to be manifested, right? So it's really important that we understand it for what it is, I think. And while there's a lot of things that the ideas that come to us could be quite abstract, and the reason why they don't get manifested is because we are sometimes overlooking the practical side of things, the planning, the material input and financial input that it requires, and all these kind of things. But I still think that when you know that you have this very creative period, then you can lean into this while being cautious. And that's where we have the grounding energy from Earth in gate 12, being cautious about how far we take this in terms of manifestation of this energy, right? Because the gate 12 is the gate of emotional wave. I'm right. Yeah, it's in the solar plexus. I just had a Juliette Stapleton blonde moment.
The throat. The 12 is from the
Oh, the
throat.
12 is throat.
Solar
Okay,
plexus,
but
yeah.
yeah, so that's why I thought, no, that's not emotional. And
Mm.
yet with emotional waves and with the emotions, and we have a lot going on right now that whether you are emotionally defined or not, you are affected by a lot of these, energies. We have to also be careful how we express our ideas. So trust, check in with your authority, make sure that the timing is correct, because you can just share something that can be taken in a wrong way, so you could be in an unpleasant situation. And I've already kind of actually noticed that in the last couple of days of this transit. You have to know when to share, when to not. The good news for you as a marketing, if you're putting your marketing hat on, is that this is fantastic energy for sharing your ideas, right? This is where you don't really need to wait. And as long as you're not telling others what to do, but sharing it as an abstract concept and presenting it like this so that you can inspire others, so that there could be, more creativity evoked, this is the time for you. So write. And I feel like after such a long time writing my book, there was such a big pause, very heavy energies. This is the energy to tap into, to open that creative flow, right? It's really beautiful. And of course, if you have the gate 56 and the 56 is in the throat, right? So 11 is in your ajna, and this is why there's a lot of thinking, there's a lot of, this is a mental energy. So if you have 56 in your throat activated, which I actually do, so then you have this channel of curiosity. The difference between having the channel of curiosity and not having the channel of curiosity is that, again, the 11s can have all these ideas, but you need to know the timing sharing these ideas. And you need to understand that these ideas are not for you. This is why they don't manifest. The gate 11 is here to share ideas for others. Share them, present people, brainstorm, see, like paint a picture of what's possible with these ideas. When you have 56, then there's a little bit more sense of right timing and right expression. And with the storytelling, which is the big gift that 56 is bringing here, your ideas can land more kind of correctly, so just watch that. However, if you do have 56 but it's an undefined throat center, right? you need to be extra careful with whom you're going to share your ideas, even with the channel at play, even though your throat is temporarily defined right now. If you naturally don't have it, and when you have an undefined throat center, it is really important to remember less is more when you're talking. What I feel like there's a lot of tendency of overcompensating and oversharing, every little detail. And it's unnecessary because that just repels people and doesn't actually kind of doesn't bring you any good, because there could be a good idea, but I'm about to I'm about to sneeze, which is in Russian traditions, and my first language is Russian. It's like when you sneeze in mid-sentence, it's the universe is saying this is correct what you're saying. So yes, hold back, don't overshare, because less is more, and it's more power when you actually focus on quality of what you're sharing. When in these energies right now, the caution of when to share your ideas is even more important, because you can just share to a wrong person or someone who is not prepared for this specific idea, and that can land really, really badly. I've also seen a couple of situations like this happening within the communication. And of course, we just came out of Mercury retrograde, especially the last couple of days. There was so much breakdown in communication. I find that when Mercury goes retrograde and then it goes back direct, those dates or 36 hours around the time when it goes direct or retrogrades, that's when the worst breakdowns are happening. It's almost like everything has to recalibrate, and so many glitches. And it's funny, yesterday so many technical glitches were happening, and yesterday when the retrograde finished, and I was just saying, yeah, well, this is it, we are recalibrating now. Mercury can be in charge of our communication. We can just take a little break, relax a little bit, because our minds were so sharp the last 3 weeks. So that's kind of coming to end now. So that's me now. Creative ideas. That's the idea. Share them through your content, share them through communication with others. Definitely present some ideas. If you say you're working with clients, such a great time to brainstorm. But be cautious. Be cautious that not all ideas are meant for manifestation, and be practical. Just be practical with them. I think it's a lovely energy, but I was complaining to Anita that outside that whole creativity and these ideas, right, there is this weird sense of control. Like I wanted to be in the last, it's not that this transit related, but it's a bigger picture. And that's why we have Anita's here as well, to just give us sometimes what's the bigger picture, what's happening. And there is so much complete, strict, and I would say, not unapologetic, but there's no compromises with this sense to control. This is what I've been experiencing, and I couldn't recognize myself. I didn't know where it came from. There's just absolutely everything has to be my way or the highway. There's a black and white, very rigid thinking, rigid feelings, and nothing, especially this is what I mentioned, somebody presents me with an idea and it just lands wrongly. Maybe they rushed, maybe I wasn't prepared, but my controlling nature then kicks in and I'm like, no, I just want to go kick people. Where is this coming from? Anita,
Yeah,
give us some insight.
my sentiment exactly. What we have at the moment in the bigger context is Mars is in retrograde and it's teetering opposite Pluto. So they're the two big control planets. Pluto has just moved into zero degrees Aquarius. So what's happening is, we're so used to for centuries having top-down systems that support us, like education, political, economic, all that way. And they're falling apart. So this is the energy for us as individuals to say, enough, get your shit together. Stop creating crazy systems that don't support us anymore. You need to reset them. So it's the energy for us. It's like a fight energy. And as you know, it can become fight very quickly. We can be very easily triggered into anger, or you'll notice you'll spike anger. Something won't happen your way and you'll feel like a 2-year-old having a tantrum. What do you mean it's not working? So it's really, and it is around this gate 56. So it's super highlighted at the moment with the sun here. So it's really amplified. And with the Mercury retrograde, it's in the gate, it activated the gate 26. Well, what's true for us? Where are we being tricked? Where are we being tricked into buying stuff or investing in stuff that's not right? The gate nine, well, what details do we need to stop that from happening? And the gate five, right, which is the timing. And Mercury is going back over these again. And the timing is that gate, with that gate five, and I don't know, do you notice this, Juliet? But anybody I meet with the gate five can struggle to set goals because they feel immediate pressure to put them in action.
Yeah, that's me. I have gate 5 and 9
Yeah.
on my
Yeah.
undefined sacral. So yeah, it's impossible to plan something ahead long term because you just want to implement something straight away,
Yeah.
and then you get a completely burnt out immediately as well. So it's a challenge.
Exactly. Exactly, right? My husband has it, and literally we'll set a 5-year plan. We'll complete it in 1 year, and we'll be burnt out for the next four trying to recover from the activities, right? So it's really interesting because all these together can be very powerful, motivating energy to take action. And but you're now in a Maserati, like you're in a very powerful vehicle. And so to be able to manage this, personal care and self-care is so important. When you know this, though, you can kind of go, oh my God. As a client said to me during the week, I love your transits and tactics sessions, Anita and Juliet. She said, because it's more like the, oh, thank God I'm not crazy
Oh
forecast.
yes, that's why we're doing this because this is what we're dealing with. I'm asking
Yeah,
myself, am I crazy every 5 minutes? So, and I've
yeah,
always, all my life, I was watching other people doing things like this, and this is one of the ways. But what we are bringing extra level here is that we're bringing our expertise in terms of the money management and prosperity and marketing and visibility, and we can give you practical advice. But yeah, at the
exactly.
bottom line, it's really like, oh my God, what's going on? Is it me?
It
No, it's
is.
not you.
Yeah, it's not you. There's a lot of impatience. There's a lot of wanting things to happen. Actually, you know what's happening? If I was to tune into it as a human, what I feel is happening is our level of frustration with the way things have been stuck for so long has finally overcome our fears. And this is the energy to actually go, okay, I'm going for it. That's
Yeah.
it. I'm going to commit to this. I'm not going to let my fear run my life anymore. And it's very powerful. And as you saw with Syria, like a 40-year tyranny was usurped, or and believe it or not, when Pluto went into Aquarius in the 1700s, which was the last time it was there, we had the storming of the Bastille. So the people rebelling against bad management, basically, right? So we watch out for a number of many rebellions, most likely, and protests over the next few years because it's just the way it's going to go, right? It's we need that energy of enough is enough energy. And there's a really good aspect to this, okay, my way or the highway. In balance is these are my needs and they're non-negotiable. And, there's a point where we create the balance between, okay, how can I serve my needs with respect to my relationships or with respect to my business, as opposed to despite it and fight everything, you
Well,
know?
that's it. There is a lot of negative energies, emotions, not
Yeah,
energies, emotions. And our
yeah,
problem, I find, is that we are attaching emotions. We're on a personal, individual level, we're attached too many emotions to things that should be neutral. And that just, then it's like a slippery slope, and it's really
true.
difficult.
And this is where your emotional intelligence, your emotional freedom technique, all these things are so important because the anger is necessary.
Yeah.
Anger is a very powerful emotion. It can be telling you that you're hungry, your body has run out of fuel, you're tired, someone has overstepped a boundary, and you actually need to confront it, which will be difficult for the open emotion. It's difficult for all of us. Let's face
Yeah.
it, we're all trying to avoid confrontation. But with the gate 11, I have the gate 11, and it's a gift and a curse at the same time, right? I wake up every morning going, I have an idea. I could spend all day going, I have an idea. And as you said, it's a projected channel. These ideas are for other people. So how I coach my clients is have an idea parking lot so that you can open into your manifesting and say, okay, I have an idea for someone who wants to hear it, and I'm manifesting that client to knock on my door today or to sign up with me today, right? So it's a very different way of working the energy, and you're going to attract people who are in their stories. So the ideas are to help people bring more harmony to their life. And this is what we're doing.
Mm.
For us, bringing these transits is like, I think it's gold. Even if, looking back on what we've said is very, very useful. It's like it's almost becoming a catalog of these energies now. So, watch that. But this energy, we have a number of things happening next week. We have Jupiter squaring Saturn, which is work reward. We're in that cycle again. So just to be aware, that's Christmas Eve, just like we needed like a hole in the head, right? But if you use it correctly, you can actually open up to what might be holding you back, where you're over applying your energy, overdoing things that you need to step back and more so step into more flow because that's where the rewards are. But they're also in this Gemini Sagittarius, energy. So it's key to watch. And the other thing is Mars is directly, as in exactly opposite Pluto in Aquarius on the 3rd of January. So again, volatile, rebellion. When Mars went retrograde last weekend, and that was the weekend that Syria, that the people overthrew their government. So, so it is volatile energy. So be aware, feet on the ground, grounding and centering, zip the anger, take yourself off, do more exercise, more. It is control energy. It's controlling how we're designed to shine. And it's just these two. These are the power players in the chart, in the transits. So what might be useful actually is looking into where these are in your chart. So if you went into astrodiennis.com and just put in your details and see what house the 0 degrees of Aquarius is for you. And that'll be the area. For me, it's relationships. So yesterday I sat down, my husband and my daughter, to set up new house rules because I was there. If I don't do this, I'm going to kill you. Metaphorically, right? Metaphorically. They were driving me nuts. I was there. We have to sort out some kind of a rota here because we're all working from home.
Yes.
So it's a different pressure that we're not used to. This is
Yeah.
historically very new and historically currently very new for everybody. We weren't ever supposed to be in that contact with people consistently.
Yeah,
Really
it is,
shows
it
up.
is very hard. And you know what? I had this conversation actually with my daughter yesterday, who is doing her PhD, and it's a research. So there is no 9 to 5. There is no, and it's very vague, like deliverables, and it's really difficult psychologically. She's having a lot of mental problems with not knowing what the hell is going on in life in a way. But I can see how this is. It's driven by that. And I was saying to her that when you're working from home on for yourself, your own boss, you're calling your own kind of hours, especially not the client calls where there's accountability to show up at a certain time, but everything outside that. That's where people mostly struggle. I know with conversations with clients, people struggle to organize themselves. People struggle to, sit down, stick to something, to tap into their creativity because we're at home all the time. We're at home resting, we're at home working. There is so much habituation to our home environment happens that there's no creativity. There's all these things, and we have to tap ourselves in a way on the back and saying, you know what, well done. If you are getting
Yeah.
any progress with this sort of working environment, you are a powerhouse. You are actually doing really, really well. I know it doesn't look like this, you don't feel like this, but you're doing really well. Give yourself credit. This shows that you have the level of discipline. You have to, because this is the hardest thing to do.
Mm,
And trust me, most people in the world are not disciplined. Most
mm.
people in the world are all over the place. The very like individual people that we all then if we hear somebody is like really, really disciplined, it feels like something's wrong with you, but it's not. They are the out of ordinary, not us.
That's true. I mean, discipline equals freedom. But, and also, as you say, celebrate what we have achieved. Everything, every little thing that we do, celebrate now.
Yeah.
But the other thing is that the energy, Chiron is activating the gate 51, which is in Aries at the moment. And this is preparing for all the energies that are going to move in there next year, right? And it's like a 2-year-old flipping a switch.
Yeah.
So I've got it, I don't got it. I have got it, I have it. It's gone. And there's the idea, it's gone. So the grounding is ridiculous that's required to keep this. It really, that's why the gate 5 is activated through the Mercury retrograde. We really need to pay attention to those details now that keep us grounded and centered in our personal practice. Because we're evolving in a new way that we're not used to. So developing our routines. And for me, I have the gate 15, which is the opposite, developing those routines that are really going to support us now. And
Yeah.
it's becoming a non-negotiable, right? It's
And
becoming,
it's not like reading a book, like it's not like a 5
yeah,
a.m. club. Now we're going to do, all that now and then we're
yeah,
going to succeed. No, it's about finding your own routines and your own patterns and the cycles that work for you. This is what biggest lesson for me with this gate 5. It's funny how in my connection chart with my dog has gate 15 and he has a huge presence. He literally, like, he runs the show, but I can
mhm,
see this energy between finding the cycles and routines that work rather than going with the classic trainings or how it should be. Or no,
yeah,
things are different. You're figuring out your own. That's why it takes a little bit longer, but when you do, the reward is huge because this is it. You've cracked the code, and it feels very rewarding to know what works for you. Anita, may I just mention before we wrap up something you said earlier about anger, and that what is anger telling you? And this is something that we're forgetting. And I've had this conversation with my daughter, because anger and nourishment, anger, it's not always just like go meditate, right? It's about, are you hungry? Are you thirsty? Are you physically looked after yourself? Are you rested enough? Not meditating, not trying to avoid the anger, but like, is your physical body actually running on fumes, or is it nourished? And this is the theme that I'm finding myself, doing more and more, restarting my vitamin course, doing, relaxational, different things, even doing some beauty things, just doing things for me. It's not
yeah,
about, because I can't find rest, and
mm,
this anger keeps coming up. But I know sometimes it's not anger, sometimes it is working from home. I skipped breakfast again. You think it's only in the office you can skip breakfast? No, at home you forget about like the need to eat altogether sometimes, and then rushing and trying to get something. It's really unhealthy. That can happen, and a lot of people fall into that trap. So if you're listening to this, you're recognizing yourself, you're not the only one. This is a
yeah,
very common thing. Just because we work from home, that doesn't make it more convenient for our bodies. And we put a lot of strain. And unnourished or malnourished body means less creativity, more frustration, more anxiety, more anger. And then, with the help of the planetary forces, it's just,
yeah. So
this is
true,
what we're dealing
especially
with.
when there's so much volatility in the energies at the moment. It's exaggerated. So I would totally agree. Your personal practice, your food, because anger, one of the biggest keys that I found with anger is to handle it, is stop judging it. Allow yourself to be angry. It's telling you something. And, check in. Is it food? Do I need to go for a nap? So they're very good indicators of how anger impacts us. So stuffing it down is actually very unhealthy. Acknowledge it. Um, to me, every emotion is designed to tell us what action we need to take to get back in balance.
Mhm.
And even when you are annoyed with something that's not working out with work, that's what's going on with this Mercury retrograde energy as well. Things aren't working out the way you expected. No, you're not getting those results. And you can have your tantrum and then go back, step back, recenter and go, okay, well, what do I really want then? What do I? And with those ideas, it's really good. It's with the gate 11, it's really great to connect those ideas to your decision strategy. Is this idea for me or is it for a client? That makes it really easy for you to discern what ideas to use in your marketing and what ideas to make a story about to
It's true.
actually
It's true. And I
attract
also
that.
think that, if these ideas, so if the theme is here that these ideas are not really meant to be manifested for you, because very often they're abstract and not practical enough. Yes, use them and use them creatively, share with others, because this is the energy for others. Write content. You can put your ideas, your concepts, write like reflections, visions. These are very magnetic pieces because in a way you're kind of drawing behind the curtain and letting people into your inner world. And this is what, as a collective in the world of marketing, is crucial to this is where like, know, and trust. My English is failing me miserably at the end of this recording, but that's where know, like, and trust factors, is born, where we're getting
Exactly.
to know each other a little bit personally. So this is the energy, but you can, it's only the transit. The transit will
Yeah.
pass in a few days, so you don't have to
I,
implement it.
That's exactly right. And I just want to pull out a point that you made there about you don't have to manifest it. It's connected to the ajna. So I have a defined head in ajna. Until I found out that I don't have to activate all these ideas, I was driving myself distracted trying to, because you'll feel pressure to manifest these ideas.
Yeah.
And now you know you can stop that. You don't have to do that anymore. You can just let the ideas flow and connect with the ones that are correct for you. Because that is the biggest thing. With 70% of the population have an open head and ajna, so they'll be trying to be certain about the ideas, and you'll spend a lot of time and a lot of energy engaging with stuff that's not even for
For
you.
you.
Give it a
And that's
break.
what happens. And that's where the shiny object syndrome happens. It's true.
Yeah,
It's true.
yeah,
Guys,
yeah.
we will survive. We will survive. Everything is well. Everything is as it should be. Everything that's thrown at us is there to give us an insight, to give us some sort of point of contact, so we know how it feels when it's tough, and then when things pick up, you will be able to appreciate it more. I am a great, great believer that everything is just as it should be. So with all our complaining and with all our, sharing about our own personal angers and frustrations, all is well. So we will see you in the next transit. Thank you so much for being with us, and hope you will join us on the next video.